So this topic, activity based costing. If I could share with you that how this activity based costing is actually examined. So from the F5 perspective, this area of activity based costing is examined as part of section A of the syllabus of the paper or the section B of the paper. Now, what do we mean by section A? That means there is actually going to be the objective test question with respect to it. And when we talk about the section B would actually mean that there are going to be the case OTQ. So this is where this activity based costing is examined. Now, before I go on discussing about the activity based costing, I would have to recall some of the basics of the absorption costing. I would have to recall some of the basics of the absorption costing. So I'm repeating it again. Before I go on discussing about the activity based costing, I will have to recall the absorption costing first. If I talk about the absorption costing, so what exactly is the concept of absorption costing? So the concept of absorption costing is basically where you absorb the overheads, into your product, where you absorb overheads into the product. So whenever we absorb the overheads into the product, so basically absorption costing principles are used. Now, if I could have a quick recall of the basics of the absorption costing. So you do know that whenever we talk about the concept of overheads, so what exactly are the overheads? So it's actually the indirect cost which is considered to be the overheads. The indirect costs are considered to be the overheads. There are two types of indirect costs. There are two types of overheads. What exactly are they? One of them is called a production related overhead, and the other one of them is other than production or non-production related overhead. The other one of them is non-production related overhead. So if I talk about it, there are basically two types of overheads. One of them is the production related overhead, and the other one of them is non-production related overheads. Now, if I talk about this production related overheads and non-production related overheads, so what we do with respect to production related overheads is we actually treat them as a product cost. So what do I mean by this? This actually means that we add it to the cost of product. We add it to the cost of product. But when it comes to the non-production overheads, so non-production related overheads are actually treated as a period cost. When we talk about the non-production related overheads, so the non-production related overheads are treated as a period cost. And what exactly do we mean by treating them as a period cost? So when we talk about treating them as a period cost, that means they are charged as expense in the P&L. They are charged as expense in the profit and loss. And now the next thing that actually comes to our mind is that, so how do we add these production related overhead to the cost of the product? That is, how do we actually absorb them? So the concept of absorption is that whenever we actually absorb the overheads, so there has to be some of the base on the basis of which the overheads are going to be absorbed. How do we absorb them? We absorb them using the overhead absorption rate. We absorb these production overhead using the overhead absorption rate. And what exactly is the overhead absorption rate? This is actually computed like this. Budgeted fixed overheads, or the budgeted overheads divided by the budgeted capacity. Budgeted overhead divided by budgeted capacity. Now, let's talk about it. Let's start discussing about it. Whenever we talk about this concept of this budgeted capacity, so what do we mean by this budgeted capacity? So you would recall from your past studies that whenever we have to absorb the overheads, so there are different bases on the basis of which we absorb the overheads. It could be on the basis of labor hours. It could be on the basis of machine hours. It could be on the basis of number of units. Could actually be on the basis of labor cost. So there could be multiple ways on the basis of which these overheads are absorbed into the production cost. So generally speaking, what I'm actually recalling is I'm trying to recall the basic concept of absorption costing. Not because I have to teach you absorption costing, that is because I have to teach you activity-based costing. And for me to be able to teach you activity-based costing, it's important that I should have a recall of the absorption costing, which simply means that you absorb the production-related overheads into the product cost on the basis of various factors. It could be labor hours, could be machine hours, could be number of units, etc., etc. Why would you use them? So, for example, if your industry in which you are operating is labor intensive, you would go for the labor hours. It is actually machine intensive, so you would go for the machine hours. And if it is basically volume based, where the labor hours doesn't matter, where the machine hours doesn't matter, so it's actually going to be the number of units on the basis of which it is going to arise. Then the next thing is the labor cost. So at times what happens is we do absorb the overheads on the basis of labor cost also. Now, what exactly is the need for having an activity-based costing when we already have an absorption costing? So let me explain to you. Activity-based costing, which is commonly known as ABC, is also a method of absorbing overheads. It's also a method of absorbing overheads. Now, why exactly do we need this activity-based costing? So in order to understand this activity-based costing, you need to first understand the difference between a traditional organization and a modern day organization. What do you understand? What do you need to understand? You need to understand the difference between a traditional organization and a modern day organization. Now, what exactly do you mean by this traditional organization and what do you mean by the modern day organization? So the major differences between the traditional and the modern day organizations are three differences. And what are these three differences? The first one of them is that the traditional organizations used to have single product. Whereas when it comes to the modern day organizations usually deal in multiple products. The modern day organizations usually deal in multiple products. The second thing is the traditional organizations used to have simple manufacturing process. They used to have simple manufacturing processes. Whereas when it comes to the modern day organization, they have got the complex manufacturing processes. What do they have? They've got complex manufacturing processes. And the third thing is there is a lack of competition. There's a lack of competition, whereas here there is an excessive amount of competition. Here the competition is high. There is excessive amount of competition, which actually would mean that there is a high competition. So as I mentioned that before we go on discussing about this activity-based costing, we need to understand that what exactly is the difference between a modern day organization and a traditional organization. So when we talk about the modern day organization, these are the three specific characteristics of the modern day organization. That is, they used to deal in majorly single product. That means there weren't multiple products, there was only a single product. So when you have the single product, the overhead allocation is simple. Similarly, the production processes were very simple, and the production processes were very simple, like they could either be labor intensive or they could either be machine intensive. But when it comes to modern day organization, the manufacturing processes are complex because the products are now advanced products. The products now need multiple processes through which a product can actually be passed, through which the product can actually be made. So there are multiple steps that you have to take if you have to manufacture a product in the modern day organizations, because the products have become complex. And the third thing, which is very important and which is the very core reason, one of the core reasons for the introduction of the activity-based costing, is that traditionally there was lack of competition. So even if your costing was wrong, your pricing was wrong. And it didn't actually matter much. But with the increasing competition, with the increasing globalization, what has actually happened is the competition has increased. So if the competition has increased, so that would actually mean that when the competition would have increased, so this would actually mean that the pricing is very important, and pricing is dependent upon the costing. So in case if your costing is wrong, that means the pricing is also going to be wrong. So therefore, when it comes to the modern day organization, the modern day organizations used to have a lot of problems in using the absorption costing. Now, why were they having problems in using the absorption costing? The major reason behind this problem was that the absorption costing didn't actually suit these modern day organizations. So what they actually looked for, they looked for a method which could help them absorb overheads on the basis of activities undertaken. So what the modern day organizations they looked for was that they were finding it wrong with their pricing, with their costing, while using the absorption costing. The major reason behind that is that the absorption costing didn't actually adjusted to the modern day environment, and resultingly the costing was wrong, and hence the pricing was wrong. So if the costing was wrong, the pricing was wrong, and what happened was ultimately you were ending up losing out your competition, losing out your competitive position. So basically what happens is there came a need to introduce the activity based costing, which is going to be a method in which the overheads are going to be absorbed on the basis of the various activities that an organization undertakes, rather than on the basis of a simple conventional cost measures like labor and overhead and etc. etc. So that was what it was. Is it okay now? Okay, so that's how the activity-based costing actually comes into play. Now, what are the different activities that the organizations they undertook while manufacturing the product? So if I could just simply handle the multiple activities that are undertaken whenever the organization enters into the manufacturing of product and etc. etc. So multiple types of activity is basically number one of them is the order placement. So when you actually operate as an entity, you incur a cost while placing the order. There is a cost for materials handling that you actually have to incur. Then furthermore, there is actually a machine setup that you have to do. Furthermore, there is actually the machine maintenance that you have to incur. Additionally, we have got the production scheduling. Furthermore, what we have is we have got the dispatch of products. So these are the various activities. I've not considered all of these activities, but I've just given you an example of the various activities that you engage into while manufacturing and while selling a product. So if we talk about the traditional method of absorption costing, we simply used to do this way, that we used to absorb the overheads on the basis of labor hours. We used to absorb the overheads on the basis of machine hours. We never thought that what are the various activities that the business undertakes in order to manufacture this product, in order to sell this product. So if you look at these various activities which I have mentioned, you would realize that each one of them is a specific activity while handling these products. Like for example, order placement. So you would reach out to the many suppliers. You would filter out the suppliers in respect of, you would reach out to the many suppliers, you would filter out the supplier with respect to the quotation and with respect to the quality evaluation and etc. etc. And then you would place an order. Maybe if it's an import order, so you might have to open up a letter of credit and so on and so forth. So there are actually multiple activities that you do when you simply place an order. It seems to be a simple task, but this task itself involves a lot of things. The second thing is about the materials handling. When the material is delivered to your premises, you need to check the material, you need to compare it against the purchase order, you need to compare it against the dispatch or the delivery order, then you need to store them, then you need to issue them, etc. etc. There are multiple activities that your materials handling department undertakes. So I'm repeating it again. There are multiple activities that your department is actually going to handle. So basically, when we talk about the concept of the multiple activities which are undertaken in order to manufacture the product, you could now understand that these are the multiple activities that are being undertaken. And if we allocate the overhead on the basis of labor hours or the machine hours, that would be highly inappropriate. So specifically, in order to overcome this specific issue, the activity-based costing was implemented. The activity-based costing was introduced. So I'm repeating it again. In order to overcome these issues, the activity-based costing was introduced.